All right, moving on to our presentation. I'm told that our longtime member, Shirley Edwards, used to share this prayer every Thanksgiving by Max Coots. Let us give thanks. Let us give thanks for a bounty of people, for children who are our second planting, and though they grow like weeds and the wind too soon blows them away, may they forgive us our cultivation and fondly remember where their roots are. Let us give thanks for generous friends with hearts and smiles as bright as their blossoms, for feisty friends as tart as apples, for continuous friends who, like scallions and cucumbers, keep reminding us that we've had them, for crotchety friends as sour as rhubarb and as indestructible, for handsome friends who are as gorgeous as eggplants and as elegant as a row of corn, and the others as plain as potatoes and as good for you. For funny friends who are as silly as Brussels sprouts and as amusing as Jerusalem artichokes, and serious friends as complex as cauliflowers and as intricate as onions. For friends as unpretentious as cabbages, as subtle as summer squash, as persistent as parsley, as delightful as dill, as endless as zucchini, and who, like parsnips, can be counted on to see you throughout the winter. For old friends, nodding like sunflowers in the evening time, and young friends coming on as fast as radishes. For loving friends who wind around us like tendrils and hold us despite our blights, wilts, and witherings. And finally, for those friends now gone, like gardens past that have been harvested, and who fed us in their times, that we might have life thereafter. For all these, we give thanks. I love that prayer, and I think it's a wonderful approach to Thanksgiving. But there are many different, equally valid responses to this holiday. Next, I'd like to share a video of some Native Americans' one-word responses to the word Thanksgiving. Sadness. Thanksgiving is a time when my family gets together and tells stories about our creation myths and who we were, who we are, and feeling what we lost. I like the overall idea of Thanksgiving, but not where it actually comes from. Turkey and white bullets. I don't know what the first Thanksgiving was, but I highly doubt it was a group of happy pilgrims and a group of happy Indians cooking turkey together. Family. Watch the ball. Warm. Celebration. I don't really know the holiday, but what it actually is for. Colonization. I think it is important to give thanks and to have a day for that. But the history of why we celebrate it in that certain way is more complicated. Horror beyond measure. Terrible, brutal, atrocity, massacre. Kirk's character for a lot of it. They don't have to be for the savage. They slaughtered millions of us. I don't have any problem with that. Romanticized. I would definitely say the story of Thanksgiving and coming together is definitely romanticized because of the horrible atrocities that were committed against us. Thanksgiving just to me just means a day for football and lots of good eating and try not to think about what it really represents. Quite a mixture of responses, and some of it's hard to hear. at least for me, after such a joyous and warm Thanksgiving weekend. So what do I do with my sense of guilt and privilege, which I certainly have? Well, I spent some time on the website nativehope.org. Native Hope is an organization that exists to address the injustice done to Native Americans. They say, we dismantle barriers through storytelling and impactful programs to bring healing and inspire hope. So the rest, this next little bit is mostly information that I got there, also on the Smithsonian website. So November is Native American Heritage Month, and the Friday after Thanksgiving is Native American Heritage Day. Only about a third of federally recognized tribes, however, supported the bill to designate Native American Heritage Day, which was signed by President Obama in 2009. Brian Perry, a Chickasaw Nation citizen, says, as a Native American, I feel slighted. The day after Thanksgiving, almost an afterthought. What is the day after Thanksgiving known as in America? Black Friday, not Native American Heritage Day. It is a day when the American consumer plots out the best bargains. On the other hand, also from nativehope.org, while some Native Americans have chosen to reject the Thanksgiving holiday entirely, many embrace the positive messages of the day. Stephen Peters, a Wampanoag tribe spokesman, and the Wampanoag tribe is the one that is credited with the first Thanksgiving feast in 1621. Stephen Peters was asked about his views on Thanksgiving. Here's what he had to say. I think it's great. My ancestors had 4 harvest festivals throughout the year, gathering with family, enjoying our company, sharing our blessings, and giving thanks for all that we have is a good thing. Have more Thanksgiving events throughout the year. I also ask that you take a moment on that day to remember what happened to my people and the history as it was recorded, and not the narrative that we had been given in the history books. A quote, a reading by Lillian Nye, Let Our Table Stand Like an Altar. Who are the faceless hundreds? Started wrong. Imagine all of the hands that have participated in bringing food to the table for this one meal. Who are the faceless hundreds who planted and harvested, who cleaned and packaged and canned, who shipped and stocked, ran the cash register and bagged our groceries? If we also imagine the extended network of relationships that sustain the farming, factory, and freight industries, that web of connections reaches out indefinitely in our global economy. So many hands, so many faces, so many stories, now connected to your own because you decided to use raisins or bananas or salmon or a European cheese or coffee or soy sauce, although I hope to God not all in the same dish. Consider the migrant workers who harvest so many of our table fruits and vegetables. Their labor is indispensable to the farming industry, yet they are some of the poorest, most powerless, and most exploited people living within the borders of our nation. That they are often denied fair compensation for their work is a factor behind the moderate prices we enjoy. Imagine all those faces, those hands, those stories. When we eat mushrooms or apples, grapes or tomatoes, we are in a sense ingesting their labor, their life, their deferred dreams, and lack of choice. We cannot escape our interdependence. Yet these truths do not need to ruin our dinner. They need not bring gloom to our Thanksgiving table. Part of being spiritually open is simply understanding that our lives, our blood, our beating hearts live because we are sustained by other lives. Being conscious of these realities deepens our Thanksgiving. Would that we could live without taking or using life, but we cannot. Therefore, let our eating be an act of worship. Let our table stand like an altar. And now Bill and I would like to share an excerpt from the opera to close the presentation part of this, and then we'll do some housekeeping about the meal and sing our closing hymn and so on. We'd like to share an excerpt from the opera Candide by Leonard Bernstein, based on the satire by Voltaire. Candide has led a privileged life in the best of all possible worlds, but is forced to confront reality and hardship. This is a piano duet version of part of the finale of the show, in which the text, when sung, is as follows: "Let dreamers dream what worlds they please. Those Edens can't be found. The sweetest flowers, the fairest trees are grown in solid ground. We're neither pure nor wise nor good. We'll do the best we know. We'll build our house and chop our wood and make our garden grow." So before we do our closing hymn and other closing things, I'd like to tell you what's going to happen with our offering and our so on, which you'll notice we didn't take earlier. There are a couple of boxes at the back of the room. We are taking a collection of items to take to Hospitality House. Bill and I will take that later today, or in the next few days. But if you forgot to bring something to contribute, we'll leave a box here for the next couple of weeks, and we'll take it right around the middle of the month. We'll announce before we take that. So we encourage you to bring something to contribute. We also, at the back of the room on that back bookcase, there's a basket. And that's where we're collecting our offering this morning. We invite you to, once we've done these last few things, we invite you to take your offering to Hospitality House, and then your offering, which we will give to Immigrant Justice Coalition in Sandra's name, there, and then pick up your plate and have your food. Oh, that's how it's going to work. But before we do that, we're going to sing our closing hymn. We're going to sit at the welcome table, number 407. And reminder, if you don't know, your hymnals are on the backs of the chairs. Again, to remind you of our offering at the back of the room, to encourage you as you sit with your meal to discuss, to share 1 to 3 items of gratitude in your life with those at your table. That's our discussion prompt for the day. And then we will close the service with our chalice extinguishing so we don't have a fire during the potluck, with one of Ben Edwards' favorite poems that he used to share on Thanksgiving, The Harvest by Alice Corbin. The silver rain, the shining sun, the fields where scarlet poppies run, and all the ripples of the wheat are in the bread that I do eat. So when I sit for every meal and say a grace, I always feel that I am eating rain and sun and fields where scarlet poppies run. Well, go in peace and eat with joy. Thank you.